Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me already, my name is Sarah and I'm a flower farmer in East Yorkshire in the UK, and we're always up to lots of interesting things on the flower farm, from DIY projects to showing you how I start my seeds and how I am muddling my way through this flower farming life. So this week I'm going to be planting a hedge on the flower farm. And as you know, if you've watched a few of my most recent videos, I am very enthusiastic about trying to apply regenerative farming practices on my flower farm, because I believe that it is the way forward, and it has always been the way actually. When you look back in the past of how farming was done in the very early days, this is the way that things were farmed, and I believe that this is the way that things should be farmed. We should be putting things back into the environment in order to feed the soils and create really healthy soils to create healthy plants. So one of the things that I would like to do on the farm is to encourage more birds and wildlife to the farm in order to help with the pest problems, and the birds can eat seeds, and also just increasing the amount of biodiversity around the farm is never going to be a bad thing. So what I've decided to do is plant a long hedge along my flower field, along my first flower field. So if you don't know already, I have two flower fields. They're about 1/4 of an acre in size each, and my first one is the one that I started off with, and it is a triangle shape. And this field is sort of on the driveway of our farm, and oftentimes our dogs will run up and down the fence line when we've got cars coming down the driveway. So what I want to do is create a little bit of a hedge for screening and also habitat for some birds. But the varieties that I've chosen for the hedging plants are varieties that I can use for cutting as well. So I'm looking forward to, in a few years' time, potentially being able to harvest some of the hedging plants as well. So in the past I've also put up things like bird feeders around the farm and bird houses. I put a lot of bird houses in the back flower field last year. We already have hedges around that field as well, so I like to encourage lots of birds into that area, and I have spotted sparrows, robins, wrens, blue tits, goldfinches, amongst other things. But yeah, I really got into birds last year, which was quite nerdy of me, but I really like to see them on the flower farm when I'm working. So what I want to do is create more of an environment for birds around the front field, because we don't have too much hedging or kind of tree canopy in that area, so to be able to create habitat for them is going to be really beneficial for them. So the area that I'm going to be planting on is about 35 metres long. So from the end of the fence there, where the teepee is, all the way back to Hector and Cyril's pen there. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to use the scythe mower to just cut the grass really short, because it is quite long. And then I'm going to start digging a trench, I think, to plant the bare root hedge in. So the hedge is bare root and I got it from Best for Hedging. I'll put the link in the description down below. So I chose about 6 different varieties, and they all require planting at a density of between 5 and 7 plants per metre. So I went in the middle and thought I'll plant 6 per metre, so I can fit 195 plants along this hedge line. So I best get digging, because I've got a lot to do, and I'll update you when I start digging the trench. So I've just brought the bare root plants over in the wheelbarrow there, and because I've just dug a test strip of the trench here, I'm not sure whether it's actually wide enough or deep enough, but I brought the bare roots over just to test them out and see how they look in the trench that I've dug. And I just thought I would tell you what varieties I've gone for. So I'm just having a look at my order email here, and like I said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I got 7 different varieties. So what I'm going to do, I think, is plant them one of each. I think I'm going to plant them in like a random mix along the edge. I'm not going to plant them in blocks of similar varieties. But I went with Viburnum opulus, and I got 20 of those. Forsythia, got 20 of those. English oak, got 25 of those. Alnus glutinosa, 30 of those. Hornbeam, 30 of those. Hazel, 30 of those, 35 of those. And beech, 35 of those. So I'm hoping that they're all going to be good things that I can cut from, and they're going to sort of provide some screening there. So I'm just going to test out a couple of the bare roots and see how they're looking. I've also just got this stick which is 16 centimetres long, and that is how far apart the plants need to be to have 6 plants per metre. Okay, so I've dug the trench. It's about a foot deep, so I'm hoping that's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be very easy to get more than a foot deep with it anyway, and I've got 35 metres of it to do, so it looks okay to me when I'm placing the plants in the trench, so fingers crossed that's all going to be fine. And I've got all of my plants laid out over there so that I can make sure I take one from the right pile as I'm moving along. So what I'm going to do now is place a few in the trench and use my measuring stick to make sure they're 16 centimetres apart, and then I think I'm going to cover it over and just work in sections at a time, like maybe between posts I'll just move along like that, and it's kind of going to be, I can do it in stages then and break it down into sections, so then if I don't get finished today I haven't got an open trench and plants sitting there waiting. So I'm going to plant these first few plants and then dig the rest of the trench further along. It's a very frosty morning this morning, so I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to be able to dig the ground, so I'm just going to feed the alpacas and then see what the ground is like. So if you watched my video from last week, the one where I was prepping the polytunnel and I took you all to work with me for the week, I was clearing out the polytunnel and I basically just dumped everything here because you have to get through a couple of gateways and around to go to the muck hill, so I just thought I would dump it here and then hopefully we can get the forklift in here to take that away and it's going to be less work for me. But whilst it's so frosty today, I might actually get Rob to come and put the forklift bucket in here, so we can clear all of that out and we can add some more compost to this pile because I've used it all up. So whilst it's frosty and it's not going to destroy the ground too much, I might get him to pop some compost in for me. I'll show you the polytunnel. So I got sort of 1.5 beds done and then I cleared all of the debris out of here as well, so that bed there is just ready for the weed membrane to be lifted up and mulched with my lasagna mulch system, and this one needs the wire mesh taken off and the plants pulling out. So this is a crop of Sweet Williams that I had in last summer. The mesh was good, but it kind of gets in the way when you want to pull the plants up and things at the end of the season, so I've always had that issue, and that's why people always send me messages and ask me about how I support my plants, and basically I don't, because I find the mesh really annoying. The plastic stuff, obviously you can never get the plants detached from it, so it ends up just being a right tangled mess, and then you put in plastic into landfill. This stock netting is good, but it's not quite wide enough for my bed widths, so it does help the plants in the centre of the bed, but along the edges it doesn't really. So I might just give it another season, another go in here or maybe outside, because it does help to grow long straight stems, but also we want to be creating nice healthy plants that are going to be able to create strong stems for themselves. So hopefully with all the natural farming stuff that is occurring on the farm at the moment, that's really going to help as well. Actually, the ground doesn't feel too difficult to dig, so I think I might give it a go and plant the rest of this length of hedge today. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I'm trying to keep the hedge 1 metre away from the fence so that I can mow the grass between the hedge and the fence, and then also mow the grass between the weed membrane and the hedge. I'm down to a t-shirt on the 17th of January 2022. I'm hot and there's a trench there ready for the plants to go into. So I've got quite a good system going now. What I've been doing is going along 1 or 2 fence posts to give myself a set distance per dig, and then I've been measuring from the fence to make sure it's 1 metre away, and then I've been cutting the edges of the trench and then removing the turf off the top and then digging down to make the trench deep enough. And I've kind of been going down about 1 foot. So then I will take my bare root plants and then I put them in the same order each time, so the hedge should be sort of consistent all the way through. And then I put in a little bit of compost into the bottom of the trench and then just kneel down here and backfill it. I wish I had some more of like a microorganism solution to put onto these plants, but I don't know, I can't remember whether I said yesterday, but I think I might make some Jadam microorganism solution and water them in with that. So that should take a few days to brew, and then I can water it, and that should add some good microorganisms to the soil. So yeah, it seems to be working well so far. And there's lots of worms in the soil, and it's actually quite nice soil. If you watch my videos frequently, you know that I have clay soil, but the top end of this field is quite nice, easy to dig, so I'm not digging through tough clay, which is good. So I finally got the hedge planted, and it took me 2 days to do, or 1.5 days really, and it's a 35 metre length, so I don't think I did too bad considering it was all alone. Lots of trench digging, but I was burning off those roast potatoes that I had over Christmas, so that wasn't too much of a bad deal. So you can see the hedge behind me. I think it's looking really good, so I'm hoping that it's going to really grow nicely for us in the year to come. I think I'm going to have to prune it slightly because to encourage the growth. So I'm going to get my snippers and my secateurs and just come over and give it a prune, and then I'm going to need to water them in, so I need to grab a watering can and give them a good water, because like I said, the soil up here isn't as wet and boggy as I thought it was going to be, so they really need to get lots of water so that they survive the season ahead, so we don't want any gaps in the hedge. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks this summer, hoping it's going to grow quite quickly and the birds are really going to enjoy it. So I think I need to put some more bird feeding stations in this field particularly, so that they can enjoy the food that this field provides. I know that at the end of the season, when a few of the grasses and things are producing seeds, they really love flocking to that. So this last summer they really enjoyed the millet that that was in the field. So I might have to put some little bird feeding stations up around the field just to encourage them a little bit more, and hopefully they will start attacking the sort of predatory or the sort of pest insect populations in the field. We don't have too much of a big problem, but it would just help for them to like maybe clean up a bit of seed and a bit of pests on the farm. There's no specific advice about how much to prune the plants, but I'm just going to go along and sort of try and make things a similar height. So the forsythia that went in is a lot bigger. It's tall, like nearly as tall as me, shoulder height. I'm just going to prune them all back to a similar height so that everything is kind of similar. It doesn't say how much, it just says a light pruning, so we'll just go with what we feel will work, and hopefully that'll be fine. So I'm just planting the rest of the spare plants, and I've decided to plant them, hopefully you can see that, along this fence here, which this is our garden here, and this is the fence, and that is the flower field. So hopefully that will create a screen in time, and I don't always want people to come round and be looking at the house or looking into our garden, so it would be nice just to have a little hedge. But I am doing this the lazy way, which is to plant the bare root into the back of a spade. So I'll put the spade into the ground and wiggle it backwards and forwards, and then tilt it forward, and then slide the root into the back of the spade hole. It is a lazy way, it's not the best way to do it, but I just wanted to get this done quickly because I didn't know that I was going to have spare plants, so it's kind of just a bonus for me that I have spare to be able to do this anyway. Obviously I did purchase these plants, so I don't want them to go to waste. So yeah, I'll just show you what I'm doing, and then I'm going to be topping the soil with some compost for now and watering it in, and then in summer I'll probably come back with some wood chips and Ellie! I'll probably come back with some wood chips and mulch these hedge plants and the hedge that I've put along that fence line over there. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you're feeling my pain that I've gone through in the last couple of days planting this hedge. It's been a big job digging this trench all alone, but it's been very rewarding as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that is going to look this summer. And if you want to see how it looks this summer as well, then please subscribe if you are not already, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. So thanks so much guys, and I'll see you next time.